You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry, ChillyBoy Chillson, and this is my review for Priscilla. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Priscilla is a 2023 dramatic romance directed and written by Sofia Coppola, starring Kaylee Spaney and Jacob Elordi. The film follows the real-life story of Priscilla Presley when, as a teenager, she meets Elvis Presley, a superstar who unveils a completely different side to himself in private in comparison to his public persona that leads to a thrilling crush, an ally in loneliness, and a gentle friend. So yes, we are diving back into the world of the Presleys, one of the most famous last names in all of pop culture history. And merely a year after we got the Elvis biopic, here we are with Sofia Coppola's take on the Priscilla side of the story based on her novel, Elvis and Me. Now, I know quite a bit about Elvis. Even prior to the big film, I have family members who loved Elvis, other people in my circle that weren't the greatest fans of Elvis, so I know both sides of this controversial figure. And in honesty, one of the aspects that the Elvis biopic itself didn't really touch on much was Priscilla, someone who was a huge part of Elvis's public life and obviously his personal life, the mother to his only child. But in honesty, outside of Priscilla, the pop culture fashion icon, and the spouse to Elvis Presley, I never really knew all that much about Priscilla Presley. But I was really excited to dive into this film just based on that premise alone. Then those trailers looked amazing, looked like they would hint at some of the darker aspects to Elvis that his own biopic seemed to just gloss over. And of course, with Sofia Coppola at the helm, you know it's at least going to be an artistic vision. And ultimately, I thought Priscilla was good. I think it's a solid, beautifully crafted film, but one that still just left me really wanting for more. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I said it. It's Sofia Coppola, so you know it's going to be a vision. And this film is, in fact, a vision. It is gorgeous. The cinematography is breathtaking throughout. The way that the lens and viewpoint of the cinematography tells a story in and of itself is so commendable. And obviously, that starts with the vision of the director and the skill of the cinematographer. Also, symbolically, it holds a lot of weight. While there's not a lot on the page to sink your teeth into, if I'm being honest, I did like the way that Sophia was able to depict emotions through visual storytelling. So the emptiness of Priscilla's life, the void of individuality within Priscilla is both a negative and a positive, awkwardly enough, because they just kind of showcased it in the film itself. They showed it for what it was. And while I'm going to circle back around to why that doesn't work so well in the negatives, why it does work well is because I believe it really reflects Priscilla and how she was feeling at that time. Haley Spaney was fantastic as Priscilla Presley. I think she gives far and away the standout performance of this film. I maybe wish we could see more of a differentiation from the beginning of the film to the end. I mean, we literally start when she's 14 years old and take it all the way through her divorce with Elvis. And she kind of looks like she's the same age the entire time. They try with costuming and even a little bit of makeup, but yeah. However, that doesn't detract from Kaylee's fantastic, really magnetic performance. I do think Jacob Elordi was good, but I don't know if I'm as hyped on him as everybody else is. I think the quieter moments with him were great, and some of the cute charm was there. but it didn't completely sell me. I'll just say that. The score and the use of music was also beautiful. And yeah, they do go into the darker sides of Elvis Presley, starting with that very, very problematic starting age. They make it very clear at the beginning of this film just how young Priscilla was in comparison to Elvis Presley when they first met. Something his biopic just glazed over. Sofia Coppola made sure to emphasize it, not only in the script, as everyone's like, his age, you're young, she looks like a child. Even Elvis Presley, you're a baby, before he plants a kiss on her. But even in the framing, Jacob Elordi is so tall and Kaylee is tiny. So they really emphasize the dynamics there. And I think it plays really well into just the dynamics of their relationship. And one thing I thought was really interesting was the abuse factor of it all, not being sexual abuse, really. And that's always been a point of contention with Priscilla herself. She's even said, oh, he didn't sleep with me. It was all over the clothes, groping and stuff. But this film really showcases how the power dynamic of the situation led to just a sinister form of manipulation and abuse. I also love the ending shot. Now, I didn't love the ending overall, as in the third act leading up to it, but wow, the final shot with the music selection, top tier. So then, what doesn't work so well when it comes to Priscilla? Well, my biggest issue is that it just doesn't have enough with Priscilla, unfortunately. Again, I do think a lot of that is by design to show the void in her life, the emptiness of her life, how she was just there for Elvis. But you leave this film feeling as though you haven't really gotten to understand Priscilla more than when you came into the film itself, which is a huge disappointment. And that's going to lead me back around to that third act. We finally start to see how motherhood specifically brings Priscilla into her own and gives her a little bit something outside of Elvis, at least. But we still don't see who she is. We still don't see what she's about, what she's doing. We have a line about living separate lives, but we don't really see it. We get like a clip of her at dinner with friends. I just wish we had gone deeper into who Priscilla is. Who is this person? What is she about? What did she want leading up to those points? Yeah, she was only 14 years old, but at 14 and 13, you still have like desires or dreams. You still have an idea about your life. And I get it. We have to have Elvis, obviously, as a huge part of the film. And the book is literally called Elvis and Me. But I wish we could have expanded further out than the entire universe revolving around Elvis in this way to get to know Priscilla. And I think it made parts of, particularly the middle stretches of this film, start to drag because we weren't really getting much more with her. We were getting more with controlling Elvis at times and why someone would stay there through that. But so much of this film takes place in like two settings that the screenplay doesn't do enough to really keep the interest. And as I mentioned earlier, we cover a lot of space, and this film is only an hour and 50 minutes, which is nice because, again, we're already stretching it with how the story unfolds, with keeping the audience's interest. But when you try to cover such a huge span of time, you start to feel that we're just cutting hard from scene to scene. Scene needs to be inserted here just to make a point that we also have already made in the film. There was a lot of questionable editing choices for me personally here. So overall, I think Priscilla is a beautiful film with a stunning soundtrack and a lovely score, all centered on a great lead performance. Unfortunately, I left the theater feeling like it was a gorgeous Christmas ornament, sparkling and beautiful on the outside, but just a little bit hollow on the inside. It left me wanting for more and had me leaving the theater feeling as though I knew just as much exiting as I had known entering. So overall, if you're a Priscilla Presley fan, I think you are going to enjoy this quite a bit. If you enjoy atmospheric biopics in general, no matter how slow they may be, I also think you're going to enjoy this quite a bit. But I do think if you're going in hoping to understand a whole lot more about Priscilla Presley, you might feel a little bit let down like I was. And certainly, if you're headed in as a mega Elvis fan, maybe just watch the biopic again. I think you might be a little bit outraged at the truth bombs that are laid here, but that might be the content you need. At the end of the day, I'd say this is worth a nice Sunday matinee. Easy, breezy, pleasant time at the movie theater. So, that was my review for Priscilla. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Priscilla? Or have you already seen it? If you have, let me know your thoughts either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.